Here is Lucy Razar from Pennsylvanians for Modern Courts.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much, Maria, for that intro. My name is Lucy Resar, and I'm a program coordinator at PMC. And I wanted to thank you all for being here and to the Free Library for having us. If you have a chance, we have a questionnaire up on this slide, which really helps our funding. If you can fill that out, that would be amazing. And for those of you who don't know, I'll provide a quick introduction to PMC. We are a nonpartisan nonprofit that envisions a Pennsylvania judicial system in which everyone is assured fairness, accessibility, respect, and impartiality. And we've been working for 35 years to educate all Pennsylvanians about the court system and how to navigate with them with confidence. So we don't provide legal advice, but instead try to give residents of the Commonwealth resources and confidence to navigate the system. And we're so honored today to be joined by Myra Fields-Rouse and Robert Pomroy. I hope I didn't butcher any pronunciations, but you can correct me if I did. Myra is the Veteran Initiatives Supervisor at the Philadelphia Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services. Myra is a veteran who spent 22 years in the military and has since dedicated her career to working in the mental health care industry since leaving the Army. Rob is the Veterans Court Mentor Coordinator, and like Myra, is also a veteran and has similarly spent his career out of service providing service and comprehensive assistance to veterans. And we are extremely grateful to both of you for being here. You have an extensive knowledge that you're bringing, and we really appreciate your time. And we'll also be sending out today's slides to everyone afterwards. And I will pass it over to you both now. Thank you again.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes,
So my
thank you.
name is Robert Pomroy. I spent after I got out of the military, I spent a lot of time helping veterans with behavioral health issues, suicide prevention issues, and now I actually work for the Criminal Justice Center helping veterans with a plethora of issues. What we like to do there is that as a mentor, what we like to do is kind of like best way I put it is an AA or an NA sponsor. We're the in between of them. So when it comes time, if they're not getting along with, we'll say Myra, for instance, they'll give me a buzz and then I'll talk to Myra and tell them where the issues are between them both and stuff. And then we just help them guide them through their journey and help them to get through life. And then we do field checks on them. We do aftercare checks on them and stuff like that. I'm going to get into the slides real quick. Myra, did you want to say anything?
Sure. Thank you, Rob. So once again, thank you for the introduction and thank you for having us here. Of course, I just wanted to just say that I'm the Veterans Initiative Manager. Like Rob said, I spent a good proportion of my life in the military. And in turn, as I transitioned, it is my mission and my vocation to assist veterans, whether they're in the legal system, criminal justice, behavioral health, or if it's I just meet someone on the street and or anywhere, or at an event. So thank you very much.
So
You can
with
go,
the
Rob.
pyramid, that you see here, we're right there at the bottom of a municipal court and magistrate district courts. What we like to try to do at that level is try to get them not to meet the top of the pyramid. So this just shows the levels of courts that are above us. So we're at the bottom of the totem pole. So what we like to do is that we like to stop it before it becomes an issue. For instance, some of our guys have gun charges, possession charges, assault charges. At this point, we try to get them the help they need before they go up to the common pleas court where charges can get even worse, and then superior court, which is you don't need to go there because we can help you if you just listen to us. Can I get the next slide? All right, so I mean, I pretty much went over the overview already in my beginning spiel. Like I said, we have a lot of people that come through with drug court, all different types of court. We have a whole bunch of plethora of diversion courts in the city of Philadelphia. We have everything from substance abuse. We have mental health court. We have DV court. I'm trying to remember the abbreviation for DV. A domestic violence court. So if anybody comes through there of them courts and they say, "Hey, I'm a veteran," and we can prove that they're a veteran, we'll try to get them over to Veterans Court because we feel like they'd be more honest to us if it was a vet. Because the judge that sits on the bench right now is a veteran. I'm a veteran. Myra's a veteran. Most of the courtroom is veterans. So I believe in one of the slides it kind of gives a breakdown of when vet court started, and I'll get into that then, and then I can tell you the story behind vet court. Myra, did you have anything on the overview?
No, we're
Okay.
good.
Can I get the next? There we go. So yeah, the first level Veterans Court is the United States Open in Buffalo in 2008. With that, there was a judge who was sitting in drug treatment court at the time, and then he had mentors in his drug treatment court who had two veterans, and then the veteran at the time that was seeing the judge was just being very resilient, didn't want to talk to the judge, wanted to do nothing that the judge had planned for him. And then it just kind of clicked that he was a Vietnam veteran and his mentors were Vietnam veterans. So he said, "Hey guys, go out there and talk to this guy. Come next court hearing." They did. The defendant was doing everything that was asked. He opened up to the other two Vietnam War veterans, and then now the guy is actually one of the head mentors in the Buffalo County. And that's when it just clicked with the judge. Like, we just need to get these guys with their own people. The judge up in Buffalo is not a veteran, but he's a big supporter of veterans, and that's why he started Veterans Court in 2008 in Buffalo, New York. Myra, you got anything?
Just right. Oh, I almost knocked my computer down. But just to piggyback on that, phenomenal judge. What started off very informally, it spearheaded the formal Veterans Court. And so, like Rob had said, that what happened was he had said, go out there and talk to those individuals. And that makes a big difference, as we know, even with peer support, even in other agencies, but especially with veterans, because when veterans speak to other veterans, we know the language. We understand where you're coming from.
Can I get the next slide? There we go. Yeah, over the years, Veterans Court, we've helped people tremendously help with their PTSD. With PTSD goes along DUIs. Because of the military, we've learned the best way to cure our depression is just drink some more. So we've adapted that as we got out. And then some of us are not coherent enough to drive, and we still get behind the wheel because at this point, because of our PTSD, we feel inferior. Nothing can hurt us, stuff like that. Same with the gun charges we have. People just think, "Hey, I'm a veteran. If cops hear I'm a veteran, they're going to just leave me alone because I know what to do and I know how to do it." But there's rules and regulations to follow, and some of these guys just think they're above the law because because of what's been ingrained in our minds when we were in the military. Myra, you have anything on top of this slide?
Sure. So what Rob is speaking about is about military culture. And the thing about it is that a lot of times there's a lot of drinking that goes on in bases when there's a lot of downtime. And even if, you get used to that and things like that. And also with the PTSD, I try to teach the veterans that come across my caseload, it's manageable because I myself have PTSD. It's not a problem me disclosing that, but once you tell things that people have shared, you have shared experiences, you see the difference with the veterans. Okay.
Yeah, going along with that too is this, like, with shared experiences, is the problem is that you're never going to know if somebody had the same experiences unless you don't talk about it. I know even at my generation, Myra's generation, we don't talk about it. We just drink, we do drugs, whatever. We do whatever to suppress it. And since being in the behavior health field of veterans, I've learned myself to open up more to my fellow veterans. And people go, "Why don't you go and talk to somebody?" Well, I do. I talk to my friends because I've opened up to them, and a lot of them have the same experiences I've had. So it's actually helping me. And then when people ask me, I've been blown up a few times, and they're like, "Oh my God, how can you talk about this?" Well, I talked about it, and my buddy next to me here, he's been blown up too, so he knows exactly what I'm going through. So that's what we also mean by like shared experience, because sometimes we might not need counseling. We just might need that guy next to us who had the same experience. And even with you sharing your story, it could open up doors for him to open up too. Can I get the next slide, please? Sorry, I took a brief scan of of all this stuff. So yeah, we are at the federal level of Veterans Court. We go from the bottom of municipality all the way up to federal court. It all just depends on what jurisdiction you're in. And things can go up that high, and that's the issue. We're trying to stop it at the municipality level to stop it. But we do have a veterans division in federal court, which we try to alleviate guys going for. Myra, you got anything on this?
Sure, and just to piggyback on that, the ultimate goal for Veterans Court, not just in PA, but is to have a veteran court in every state. So, because a lot of states don't have it, we're one of the few that have it, that really runs like a court. And it's not a dig at anyone and stuff like that, but that's the goal, ultimate goal, to spread out and get all these veteran courts in every state so that it can alleviate pushing people through the system and working and doing a holistic approach.
So I see the question that came by. Could I actually get that blown up real quick? Sorry, I'm not Zoom. Okay, got it
No,
real
you're
quick.
fine. I can also read it if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't have my glasses, so it would greatly be
Okay.
appreciated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
could you
sure.
please?
Yeah, absolutely. The question is, how do you help veterans at risk for homelessness? Do you work with social workers?
We
Okay,
do work with social workers. We also do have a bunch of different so in the courtroom alone, there's probably more resources in that courtroom than there is defendants. So we have this program we have come in. It's called Veterans Multi-Service Center. They help with homelessness. They have the CRC program on the second floor. We have VGOs in the courtroom, the veteran justice officers in there. We have Myra in there, which we have just a big plethora of resources, in-person resources in the courtroom. And we have 2 services in there that will cover homelessness. Myra herself can work with homelessness. And every place that we have has some sort of social work with it tagged along.
and I can
Myra.
tell you that. So I'm a social worker. I have a clinical coordinator who's a social worker. The VJOs, the Veteran Justice Outreach, they're all social workers. Ms. Sanders is a social worker. So we do have social workers there. And like Rob said, we do work with different programs regarding homelessness and things like that. And a big key to that piece is finding out what the character of service, I hate that, but finding out the character of service to see what benefits they're eligible for. But there's a lot of different things out there. The veterans that come to me are veterans that are either not eligible over the income guidelines or don't want to use the VA. So very large population of working class people that come in through veteran court. And I just wanted to add this. We have a large array of people with different occupations. I've had a doctor, I've had police officers, nurses,
We have an underwater scuba diver, welder.
right, anything you can imagine, writers, anything, musicians. And so that just tells you artists, so we have a wide variety of people that come across the veteran court, because a lot of times when people hear court, they think criminal. Yeah, the offenses are criminal, but they're also people too. So that's how we address it. If someone comes and tells me, hey, I'm homeless, I know somebody, a homeless vet, then I take the lead from there. And then sometimes Rob will coordinate, we'll work together. So we're all used to working together as a cohesive team. Okay.
Could I get the next slide? So as you see right here, the first veterans court to open up in Pennsylvania was in, sorry, I jack this up every time, Lackawanna County.
You said it.
Started in November of 2009, which kind of gave us the drive the following year in Philadelphia to open up in Philadelphia. The presiding judge right now is the judge who started Veterans Court in 2010 in Philadelphia, which has been great. It's been the Honorable Patrick Dugan, who has been all around the world, has all different types of jobs, was an enlisted, then became an officer, was in the active duty, was in the reserves. So he knows all aspects of the military in the Army. As you can see, there's some of our numbers here. As of 2021, there's been 25 veterans courts in the state of Pennsylvania, which back in 2009, 2010, there was only 2 to 3. Now we're up to 25. And then also like 54 out of the 67 counties has some sort of treatment court. This is including veterans court, mental health court, DUI court, and all that other good stuff. And then all veterans find themselves involved in justice system and are entitled to Veterans Justice Outreach, VGO. That's where we said Mrs. Peg Maynor, who's about to retire, bless her soul. So that's the other thing, is that just because a veteran's going through the justice system, he doesn't have to do it alone. The VA actually has people strictly to help. They're not a legal service, they're not a lawyer or anything like that, but they can connect you with the services that you need to keep you like out of jail, or you can come up with like deals like, hey, well, what about if I go to psychiatry because my PTSD is the reason I blacked out and punched this guy, and VGOs can help you get your benefits, they can help you get the treatment you need and stuff like that. And then they can also sit in the back and talk to the judge about treatment plans and good stuff like that. Myra, you have anything?
No, that's okay.
Okay. This is just some statistics right here. Like we're the 4th biggest population of Pennsylvania, has the 4th largest population of veterans. If you want to take a look at this, they said that they're going to send out the slides if you'd like them. It's pretty much stuff that we've already gone over. Can I get the next slide, please? So last year, we've had 19 veterans admitted, 52 active participants, and 20 graduates. Now with graduates, we have a graduation in or around Veterans Day and in and around Memorial Day.
Yep.
We only have 2 graduations a year, and we do them around them dates because they're more meaningful to the veteran, having them around Memorial Day and Veterans Day. But then again, what the judge's favorite saying is that because we're military veterans, we like to hold our feet to the fire. So just because they completed the course and graduate, and they completed the course, but graduation is not 3 months from now. We've had instances where we said, okay, bud, it's graduation. I need you to go take a drug test real quick. And they peed hot. So which means they're going to have to restart the program again, because obviously the help that we originally got them, they bounced back and relapsed. So what we would like to do is that we want to make sure that when they leave us, they're set for life and they know that they can call on us at any time. Myra, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, well, it's so when he said that if they come and they do the urine before graduation, what happen? And if it comes up positive, what happens is we have a talk. They're extended 90 days. So like that gives us a chance to restart, do everything what we need to do in order for them to be successful. So it is, and with Vet Court, I'm very proud of the work that we do there, and that we have a very, very low recidivism rate. It is extremely low, and the graduation rate. So it's very good. Like when you look at other criminal courts, you'll see that, because they earn their graduation and things like that. And once they graduate, the judge tells them, just like Rob said, hey, don't be a stranger. We're family. Come back. Volunteer. Come do this. Come do that. Because we do need mentors, and we want the mentors, especially people that have come through the program, but you don't necessarily have to come through the court to be a mentor, to assist. All we ask is that you be a veteran and you're in good standing, and then we go from there. And Rob trains those individuals. That's his lane. So I'm gonna leave that alone.
So yeah, if anybody wants to become a mentor, here's the information at the bottom. There's my information, and then my boss's information. I would say if you were interested, if you're a veteran in good standing, even if you have other than honorable or a general, then we'll still take a look at you. Just because if you went through the vet court system, we promote you to come through too, just to take a look and see what it's all about. And then if you're interested in mentoring, we'd like to interview you for it. And again, there's my information, my boss's information. My best way to get a hold of me is email. My work phone is constantly going off, so I don't always pay attention to it. Um, so if you're interested in anything, you can please get a hold of me. Best way to get a hold of me on my cell phone is text messages, just because I'm in and out of courtrooms and meetings all day. I can easily text, but I can't really pick up a phone call. Could I get the next slide, please?
What slide numbers, if you don't mind me asking this? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I can check real quick.
Okay, and then we could, go ahead, Rob. You want
Okay,
me to take the lead on that, this one?
yeah, you can.
Okay, so this is the one about what the type of, what is actually veterans court? It's trauma focused and it's trauma informed. So what happens is that we do a holistic approach with the veterans. They come in, they're identified, hey, they're a veteran, then they do a quick assessment to see which program they're going to. If they're going to the VA, they go to the VJO. If they're coming to DBH, IDS, they come to me. Then we set up an assessment. And then, now mind you, has to be done within a 2-week period from the 2-week time that they come into court. So within a 2-week span, they want them assessed and linked to treatment, which is a good thing because there's no time lapse. But we go through a holistic approach. Think about this. If an individual doesn't have housing, so how's he going to go to treatment? How's he going to be stable? Because, you know, you got to be able to get up and have a good night's sleep and take a shower and eat. Those are the things some of the things that we have to start with first, because that's where the stability comes from. And then we go to what they need, because sometimes as we just scratch the surface, we may just find out, well, they might need this and we thought it was something else. So I'm very proud of, it's not just focused on the legal aspects and things like that, even though we do keep that congruent with their treatment. So if it's an aggravated assault or things like that, and maybe as we go and delve into their history, well, the PTSD or the depression, so we treat that, or if it's substance use and things like that. So I'm very proud of the work that we do. And I think because we look at the person as a whole and holistically, that's why the recidivism rate is so low. Okay. Rob, you have anything on that?
No, I think you pretty much hit everything on, like, the nail on the head. Again, like with Veterans Court, we understand each other, and it's just a matter of the client opening up to us. Because like I say to all my mentees, I'm like, listen, best way we're going to help you is when you open up. If we know exactly what's going on with you, we can help you out. The more you're going to restrict and hold back from us, the less we're going to be able to help you. So please tell me everything. So, and after I give them the speech, they usually open up majority of the time.
Okay.
Next slide.
And this is slide 15, Myra. So
Okay. I was just trying to, there's a question, I think. Can you read that?
yeah, absolutely. So the question is, are there family member support in the courtroom? Or is this largely the veteran working on their own with the court supports? Can their involvement help or hurt?
So, okay, I'll take that. So the thing about it is, the family is very paramount with veterans when they're doing their military service, so that we don't close people out. Now, if you're going to be a positive influence and stuff like that, so sometimes like the first initial when we meet, I'll meet whoever the family member is. And if it's going to be a positive effect, we're all for that. Now, if it's going to be negative, you know, we'll have a discussion, blah, blah, blah. Because sometimes I've had veterans come in and their significant other, their partner, they needed treatment. So we will link their partner, significant other, spouse, wife, husband, we'll link them with treatment. Because if the family's sick, guaranteed, you know, if that person's sick, the whole family's probably going to have some issues and have, you know, be sick, we use that term. But we do look forward to family, you know, participation and things like that. So if it's going to be positive, absolutely, and assist with the veteran moving along without any bumps. But we have had some people that we've had to say, hey, listen, you know, I can't give you any information. They've signed releases not to speak to. So sometimes you have people that hinder and within their own issues and addictions, things like that, they're hindering the process of recovery. Okay. Rob, you have anything on that?
Nope, nope. Again,
Okay.
you took care of everything. So this is pretty much just a breakdown of like everything that's inside that courtroom at the time of the readings, the interactions in the courtroom. This is everything and resource that we have going in through there.
Mhm.
I want to note that our biggest one that we just got in there was Career Link. And the gentleman that comes in from Career Link is a veteran himself, and he runs the veterans program out of Career Link. The turnaround time on that is literally as soon as I scan it over, Josh is already calling the veteran as soon as he gets the scan over, making sure that everybody's okay and how he can help. I don't know if anybody's heard of Shamrock Reigns out in Harleysville. It's equine therapy. So we give a sanction to whoever needs it to just hang out with a horse for a day, and then they say like horses are just like dogs pretty much, or if better, they'll be able to bond with the horse, walk the horse, pet the horse, take care of the horse and stuff like that. I go up there myself and I find it very relaxing and it's great. I love it, but it's just a little bit of a hike for me.
Yeah.
And then again, like it says, the Veterans Multi-Service Center and stuff like that, veterans benefits. Some guys, there's a gentleman in our courtroom who went 40 years because the VA said, no, you don't qualify. And he never pursued it after that. So now this veteran, after 40 years, is going to start getting benefits again. Next slide, please.
Wait a minute, I wanted to go back
Oh,
to one thing.
oh, go ahead.
So, Shamrock Reigns, the staff has been out there. I just wanted to stress that's for first responders, veterans, and their family members. It is a clinical setting and it's a beautiful ranch. And all the individuals that work there, with the exception of like the individuals that take care of the horses and things like that, they're all clinical. The owner's a nurse manager, they have therapists and that, so they deal anywhere from PTSD to substance use, domestic, any issues that they may have. But as Rob said, it's just a hike. We wish we could get like a ride up there and stuff like that. But a lot of people continue to go. Some people have been going up there for years, and it's very good. I think that was it. I had something else to say, but I forgot. But I don't think that that list is not all inclusive. We do have other things as we introduce people coming in and different, because we go around. We do have something like a program for parents. It's called Frontline Dads. That's a good program I've introduced. We've had great results from there. So once again, we tried it. It's a lot of stuff there. There's a program called Upward Bound that's affiliated with Drexel University that assists veterans. So they prepare them for college, and they will go from ground level zero, from like a high school diploma to a bachelor's degree. So there's a lot of resources out here. And just like Rob said, the individual career link, and we have what's that Power Cord too, which is a good program that they come in and they're looking for a certain, within a certain age group. They give you stipend, they give you training and things like that. And also the VMC has a lot of training down there. They have forklift training, other things.
Forklift training, they'll pay
Yeah.
for work stuff. Because that's where I came from before Veterans Court. I used to work for Veterans Multi-Service Center. If you're suffering from behavioral health but got out as other than honorable, they can get you established in the VA for behavioral health counseling. They have job placements. They can buy you work stuff to get you started, like boots, clothing, safety equipment. They can also help you with your homeless services. If you're behind on rent, they have programs there to help you catch up on rent. They also have programs where they can help you with your utility bills if you fall behind. But the problem is that if you're falling behind on bills, but you make a decent amount of money, they'll also help you get financial counseling to find out where the problem is why you're not being able to afford your rent at this moment.
Right.
Most of the time it's either drug or alcohol addiction. So they also have drug and alcohol addiction rehabilitation resources there. It's called New Day. They'll get you established with treatment. The program I used to work at was the SSG Fox Parker grant, our Parker Fox grant, and it helps with behavioral health, getting you into the VA so you can get the help you need. If you don't want to go through the VA, we have community resources like Myra, or I also made a connection with a nonprofit organization out of Philly. It's called Black Men Heal, and it's
Mhm.
6 free counseling sessions just strictly for Black men, and they'll also help you work on getting your insurance. So then you can, if you like it there, you can continue to go, or if you don't, then you're established with a healthcare provider. So now you can actually go get treatment yourself too. Can I get the next slide, please?
Drop this computer.
Huh?
Now I must drop this computer. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, so as you can see here, these are literally every single diversion court that we have in Philadelphia at the moment. Our biggest ones are Veterans Court, Mental Health Court, Drug Treatment Court, DUI,
And
and then the Project Dawn's going to be starting to kick back up now, which it's for ladies who got caught with prostitution. They help them
ladies
get out
and
of it.
men.
And men, sorry, but majority of the courtroom, when the courtroom was going back on, it was ladies. And they found out a bunch of people out of there were actually sex trafficked, and they got them
Yeah.
where they needed to go and free, and finally able to straighten out their lives. And also and then Project Dawn also helped protect them from their pimps or their daddies and stuff like that. So it was a good diversion court too, but it kind of dwindled down a little bit since people weren't really getting locked up for prostitution in the city of Philadelphia as much. But they're starting with the new mayor, they're starting to see more, so they're going to start that court back up. DUIs, like I said, even just in the veteran community alone, there's a lot of DUIs and drug treatment. Again, but usually once they go through that court, the judge will be like, well, why didn't you try for veterans court? They'll come through veterans court. We'll see if they qualify. If they qualify, they stay. If they don't, then they'll go back into either the DUI treatment court or the drug treatment court. Myra, you have anything on that?
Yeah, even with the DUIs and things like that, sometimes they will think that people are not appropriate for it. However, just like Rob said earlier, the vet court is always willing to have a discussion to see, because it could be the nature of the service, that why things turned out the way they is. And I have seen the judge take several individuals that said that they weren't going to take. So I will say that much. Everything's not etched in stone, which is a great thing. And the PAD program, I did that with the police assisted diversion. I did the pilot program, 2019 to 2020. And that was good. Do community-based services and have clinicians out there, like a ride along with the police. So that was good. I think they're going to ramp that. It's still working, but I think they're going to be doing some other things with that, with the PAD, because what they do is they go through AMP court. So we're trying to make sure that our veterans, if they can come into vet court, we want them. But so say they're going somewhere else, they divert them to another court. The judge always wants DBHIS to talk to them, to at least make a connection with us. So if they call us and say, hey, I'm not getting any assistance in such and such, I need a place of housing, or I need some food, or I need this and that, we can assist with that.
And also with that too, the judge always saves the new people that come in till last, because he'll do introductions throughout the courtroom and everybody will introduce themselves. And then so the judge will always do the first people coming in. We call them first listings, meaning it's their first time coming through this courtroom. So we always save them for last, so then they can hear other people's issues and see what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right. We've also had distinguished veterans, even just in this past court we had today. We with DV cases, we actually give them incentives. So like today was a Camelback water bottle. Sometimes it's a Eagles Bluetooth speaker, or Chick-fil-A gift cards and stuff like that. And so what he does is that he waits for the first listings to listen to everybody and see what goes on in court. Then he brings them up. He tells them his bio. He tells them what the Veterans Court bio, what to expect, what not to expect, and stuff like that. And if they start messing up, these are sanctions he can put on. So, and then at the end, the reason he does that, even if they're not staying, he makes them stay. So then he can sit there and be like, this is what this person's resource is. Go talk to this person, to the other people. So then he can be like, oh, I'm probably about to be homeless. Let me go talk to these people. Oh, I need help with behavioral health. Let me go over to these people before I leave. Even though they don't qualify, doesn't mean any of them other resources that we bring in, they don't qualify for. So just because they didn't qualify for vet court or VGO assistance, the VMC has programs to where they can help them with housing or get their back rent paid or get them into one apartment, pay for first last security. We've also seen that, you know, when they're about to face homelessness and they're in debt, that there's a lot of mental health strain, which causes a lot of issues. So we save all them for last so then they can get their mind right, knowing that there's actually community resources that they can use, even if they're not staying in our courtroom.
I do have one thing. So, and like Rob said, so I've had individuals that were, well, messing up and not adhering to the treatment plan, and they left. But then about a month and a half, several people have called me back, and I was able to get them back in court because they realized when they left veteran court and they went to the other court, they were facing prison time. And so it's a good incentive. It's not a lot of times people say, oh, veterans court is easy. No, you have a lot of stuff to do. And if you adhere to those things, you know, you get, there's incentives and they'll identify you as a distinguished vet. And if you don't do things, then there's some sanctions and things like that. They can go all the way up from an SA to jail time and things like that. But it's never in concrete. And I was happy that that individual, I still hear from him to this day. And he was able to get himself together. He showed the judge, you know, he says, oh, I messed up the opportunity the first time and I'm not going to mess it up this time. And he was able to graduate doing extremely well. So there's always hope. And that's the thing about it. Sometimes it's so chaotic at vet court sometimes, and they don't have a chance to speak to the people. So that's where my job comes in, that I'll take the person to say, well, why am I not eligible? And then I'd explain, well, you are eligible, but you're over the income guidelines. And another thing we do is we assist them in referring to veterans, like Rob talked about the veteran, 40 years. And initiating their claims and things like that. That makes a big difference. It really does when you're getting compensated, and especially if you're in between jobs or you're trying to do something, that means something. So we bring that esprit de corps, as we call in the Army, and we bring that cohesiveness and love of the military back. So when you see a lot of people coming in vet court, a lot of them are kind of slouched over, but by the time they leave there, they're standing tall, and you know, you get to see that transformation. Okay, that's all I have, Ron.
Okay, and this is pretty much just the referral process. I think we've gone over this too a lot. So what goes on with the Veterans Court is that what's going on is that the DA and the public defender will talk, and they'll see, we'll say another diversion court. They'll talk and say, oh, we think this guy might be suitable for vet court. Then it'll get passed off to our DA and our public defender, and then they'll talk. Then the DA can accept the case or deny the case. It's to start the process, it goes through the DA approval. But no matter what, we will still pull them in that courtroom. The judge will still read their bio. He'll still look over his DD 214, which is his out record, everything that he's done in his military career. And then the judge has the final say. So even if the DA says no and the PD says no, ultimately the judge has its final say of, hey, this is what I'd like him to be here. There's been some instances where guys feel like their luck was going to be better on the other side and went to trial, and they're like, well, I should have came to vet court. but for majority of the time, even today, we had 6 new people come in.
Mhm.
It's three stayed out of the 6 because the other 3, one didn't qualify at all. And
No,
then
4 stayed.
4 stayed. My apologies,
Yeah,
because originally 3 were supposed to stay today.
right.
4 stayed and 2 went out because one didn't qualify and one thought he can press his luck. So, but we look for every little, I don't want to say glitch, I say loophole. Um, we look for the loophole so then they can be afforded the opportunity to go through vet court. And that's also with the first listings. The judge wants them to listen. So if they were thinking about like, hey, I'm just going to go press my luck, I'm going to beat this case, and the judge will talk to them personally. You think you're going to get lucky? I'm a judge that sits in that court. I can tell you right now, you got about a 60-40 chance of not making it. So the judge is pretty honest about his chances. Some people just still feel like they can press their luck, but um, my job too is that I help the DA and the public defenders read the DD 214s correctly. Because a lot of civilians don't understand on how to read it. They just see a bunch of words and a bunch of numbers and they don't understand it. They don't understand it at all. They just know where your name's at. So I'll decipher it for them going, no, no, really, he did qualify. So,
And
um,
go ahead.
Myra, no, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so another thing is too, so if you know someone is a good candidate, I've gotten a couple of people in vet court because they were a good candidate, they were hard charging, they were in treatment before that, not necessarily saying yes, but that shows the judge if they're a good candidate, like Miss Sanders, she'll say, give her a call if you know someone that's going to be good, good candidate and a good fit for vet court. Sometimes we don't have a good fit, but by the time they finish, they're going to be a good fit. And
Mhm.
what's I gonna say? But with the DD 214s, that's our record. So a lot of times it depends upon when you were in the service. Sometimes they'll say people are not eligible, and then you know we'll ask Rob to do something, or we'll find something, and we'll find out that they had additional service making them eligible, because you get multiple DD 214s doing your military service, PCS changes, permanent change, duty station, things like that. So a lot of times, like Rob said, if you don't know how to read it correctly, you're looking at it, you may see their name, their social and things like that, but you don't know how to decipher and disseminate the actual DD 214, because that's the window to your benefits. That tells us, but it doesn't tell the whole story either. So
Mm-mm.
I was enlisted in the officer also, so we know how to read the DD 214s, because it'll say page 1 or 4 or 5. Some people I have multiple ones, and I know Rob has multiple ones. So sometimes that's not always the case when people look, oh, you don't have enough time in service. And then they look, oh, they went over here, and then sometimes people don't understand that you can serve in the Marine Corps active duty and then get out the next day and sign up for the National Guard or reserves. So that time counts also. So if you have any candidates, like I said, you can reach out to Miss Sanders and she can discuss it with you. But I have gotten people in, and sometimes we know that could make the difference of saving someone's life, in different courtrooms. And especially we know that if you're a veteran and you come in vet court and they say you're not eligible, well, everything goes through someone's head. Why am I not eligible? Do they not identify me as a veteran? Things like that. So it's a lot of building up, but it's good work that we do. And we have a good team there. All right, that's all I have for that slide. Okay.
Yeah, we pretty much just went over this in that last spiel. Is just kind of like the assignments and the engagement. So if we deem that they were in there and they don't qualify for the VA, they'll go to Miss Field-Rouse for DBHIDS. But if they do qualify for the VA, we'll send them over to the VGO for additional treatments. Miss Field-Rouse, she can actually get the same services as the VA can. If not, I think her knowledge and connections have a little bit more resources than the VA does. But the thing is that if you do qualify for the VA, you do need to go through the VA. But when you get out of vet court and you feel like you need any additional treatment, the VA can still help you, but so can DBH. And then of course I'm always there too. So I still have clients calling me after they graduated going, "Oh, hey, just checking in. How you doing?" I was like, "Oh, about to call you next week to see how you're doing and how everything's going." So we do after treatments. My job is that I will call you every month for a year just to check in, see how you're doing. Um, I've had a guy starting to fall off the wagon, and we got him assistance, and we got him back into treatment, and he's doing good. And we just we just don't want to see you fall again. Um, one of my biggest vows were when I got out of the military is that it's all I want to do is help veterans. There's a saying that my old platoon sergeant said to me when I got out, and I stuck with it: is no one's going to help us but us. You have the slim few, like Miss Sanders, who's a civilian, but she'll put her heart out for a veteran. But for the majority of civilians out there, they can care less. They'll say thank you, they appreciate our service, but if you go to ask, say, "Hey, I need some help," they're not going to help you find resources as hard as another veteran would. So it's just a saying I stuck with in my life, and it's been going, and it's been going good for me. Can we get the next slide, please? All right, and like I said, graduation. This is a great day. There's sometimes people slip at the day of, and they have to be extended for a little bit. But if they get extended, they get frustrated because they made it to the end. But in the end, they know why they're being extended, and they most of the time appreciate it. But like I said, graduation usually happens in or around Memorial Day. So this month is May 31st.
No, May 30th.
May 30th. May 30th is graduation. And then we haven't planned out our Veterans Day one yet. But again, they only happen twice a year. And again, you could complete the course in August, and you have to wait till October, but we'll still call you, making sure everything's good, and just make sure that you're staying on the nice and narrow. At graduation, you get a certificate saying that you complete it. You get, if you were in the military, you know what a challenge coin is. It's a little coin with our logo on it. The judge even just told a story today. He goes, "I ran into somebody who I haven't seen in 10 years in my courtroom." And still to this day, he carries that challenge coin in his wallet. And he even pulled it out the other day and showed me, "Look, I still have the coin." And some people use that as a NA or an AA year coin or anything like that. So like it just reminds them where they were at to where they are now, and that they can always count on us. We also bring in warm pretzels for graduations, and as I'm going to say is what the judge says, and sometimes mustard. And then they get the mic for a couple minutes, and then we hang out, we talk to them for a little bit, and then we bring in some dignitaries throughout the cities to witness the graduation and congratulate them. Sometimes they'll walk up to the people and offer them jobs with the city, and so graduation is a big deal, and the relationships that we have and the people that come out with the graduation are impeccable. Next slide, please.
Hey, man, I want to piggyback
Oh,
off the graduation.
piggyback.
I've been here almost 9 years, and I haven't missed the graduation yet. But it starts off because with kind of like the pomp and circumstance, the judge does his little formal thing. Everybody says Pledge of Allegiance. We're standing. He might have a guest speaker. Someone speaks. And then, he gives a challenge coin. Like Rob said, the challenge coin is a big, big deal in the military community, whether active, retired, that's a huge thing. That is a big badge of honor. And so when you see the veterans come up, and then he'll give them an opportunity to speak and everything like that, they get that, excuse me, a coin, a certificate. DBH always gives them something too. I think the VA gives them something too. So it's a really big deal, and it's a good day. And if anybody would like to come, it's an open courthouse. It's May 30th, I think, in courtroom 305. And it's a nice end to graduation and transition into like your life, A lot of people go to school, they work, they continue on. It is sacrifices and things like that. In the beginning, especially the vet court, when you're coming in, you got to come in like 3 times a month or something like that. So it's a big deal, and it's a nice thing to see that and to see the communities and see people come in and dignitaries and people from other offices. And just like Rob said, people have been offered jobs, which is a really good thing. And it's an honor to see people with that transition from start to finish. And when they finish, they're not finished, because we always invite them to come back and to assist and be mentors or volunteer, whatever they want to do. Because with my program, their cases are never closed. So I get people call me 5 years later, hey, I need some gift cards, or I need this, I need that, I need a coat. No problem. So I made it like that because some programs will close you out. I don't really like that, because they're still going to be a veteran, and they're still human, and they still live. They might need some assistance, or they just call to stop in and say, hey, thank you, and things like that. Okay, that's all I have for that one.
And this is my boss's number again, an email right there. If you needed anything, best way to get a hold of her is email. She's constantly busy with other judges because she just doesn't run vet court. She runs mental health court. She runs DUI court. She's the madam. I like to call her the madam coordinator.
Yeah.
She giggles every time, but I was like, you're kind of like royalty. You take care of all the courtrooms. And she starts giggling. But the best way to get a hold of her right there is by her email. She will get back to you within 24 hours to 48 hours at most. Next slide, please. And then here's some resource sheets. Again, when I don't know why we didn't put the actual link there.
Once I
You can
send out the
do
slides, if people click on that, it'll hyperlink them to the
Oh,
page.
okay.
Okay, awesome. I was just gonna say you could probably Google that stuff and it will pop up for you. Again, some of the resources that we use in the courtroom. Can I get the next slide, please? All right, and then the crisis line, of course, if anybody's thinking of hurting themselves or others, you can get a hold of the crisis line, and then they can help you with any issues that you have or need. They're available 24 hours a day, all year round. Not gonna lie, a few years back, I've used it and it worked fabulously. So I needed somebody to talk to.
Also,
next slide, please.
wait a minute,
Go
go back
ahead.
to the crisis line. Also,
It is.
call 911 and press 1. It'll connect you to 988. That's specifically for veterans. We're encouraging the veterans to use that because that directs them to other different resources and things like that. So I've gotten quite a few calls directed my way and things like that. But that's the push for them. They use 911. When it comes on the verbal prompt, press 1, and then it'll tell you 988, and it'll go from there. So the city is working, to do stuff and assist with veterans where they can actually call besides the crisis line, because Rob said that is fabulous. I've worked with them many times. They came and got a veteran for me 3 o'clock in the morning, and very respectful. It's all over the world too. So that's a great thing.
All right, do we have any questions? We're at the end.
I'm not seeing anything right now in the chat.
Okay.
But I really, really appreciate you both sharing all your knowledge. That was a fabulous presentation, and everyone at PMC really appreciates your time. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it too. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
something up there right there. I see something.
Gus just said thank you for everything in the presentation. That's all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
All right,
again, and thank you, Maria, as well.
Thank you.
all right,
All
you all
right.
have a good day.
Y'all
Bye-bye.
take care.
Bye.